Today I'm going to talk about a company which I sold all of my shares that I hold in this company last week, and I'll go through the reasons why I sold all my shares in this company. I don't normally quite often sell everything at once, but something changed with my investment that I kind of thought, you know what, there's a little bit too much risk here for now for me on the table, and I thought the best thing for me to do is now walk away from this company, take the profit, and especially right now with what we got going on with a lot of stocks that are kind of selling off, I thought, you know what, that money is better to go somewhere else. And yeah, the combination of that and the risks kind of made me think, you know what, it's time to sell all this company, move on to the next one, and go buy some new shares. And one of the big targets I've really had recently is to kind of cut down on the amount of holdings that I have, and as well as that, this company as well is a holding that's probably not one of my big holdings, one of my more smaller holdings. So with that point of view, it also didn't make sense for me to kind of just take half of it off the table. It made more sense for me to just completely sell out of it, because it's not really worth keeping up with the company if I sold half of the position size as well. So that was also something that I took into consideration. But today I'll go through all the reasons why I sold this company, and hopefully this sort of process as well might help you with some of the stocks that you own, and maybe thinking in the future if something similar happens with your companies, maybe this is why you sell as well. So if you could smash the like button. If you do want to know when I'm buying and selling companies like this one, join the Patreon, the link is in the description. I post buy and sell alerts. There's 2 exclusive videos a week on there. Actually last week there was 3 as well. Sometimes we can put out a few more as well, which is also really good. And there's a Discord with over 650 members I think on there now. It's one of the highest YouTube subscribers converting to patrons out there. In fact, I believe it is the highest, which is something I'm massively proud of. And if you do want to start investing, there's some links to some brokers in the description, like Free Trade, like Stake. You join through there, you get a free share as well, or eToro, which is another popular one as well. There's a link in the description to join them and start getting investing. So the stock that I sold all my shares in was Boeing. So I'm going to go through the reasons why I sold out my Boeing shares. I made a decent, I'm not too, when I invested into the company, I wanted more profit than this, but I did get a 68% return on it. I was hoping it was going to be, over 100%, probably somewhere between 100 to 200% is where I thought I'd get my return on, but that was probably not for another, 3-4 years yet. But now I did take a 68% profit, which it's not bad, I'm very happy to have a 68% profit. I'm a big fan of not, like I always say, the big thing is to make money, and I made some decent money on this. And as well as that, is the one thing that I always want to avoid is, taking losses. I never aim to take losses in any stocks I make, any investments. There's a reason why over the last kind of 5 years I've been investing, there's only ever been one company I've taken a loss on. But as well as that, I did see that kind of risk, that I could see this actually being a negative holding maybe down the line now with what news has come out, and I wanted to make sure I still keep up taking profit on all my investments. I never want to take any losses on stocks that I invest in. So I'll kind of go through the reasons why I sold this company. There was a few reasons in particular. The first one is to go down to repeat problems. So there was a lot of problems going out with Boeing. Now originally when I bought this company, the reason why I bought this company when it went down to $100 is actually the drop was caused by the panic of the CEV situation. The CEV situation happened and people thought, you know what, a lot of these airliners aren't going to order new planes from Boeing. And because of them ordering planes from Boeing, basically Boeing are then not going to have any, they've got a decent backlog of orders, but further down the line, the orders might get cancelled, or these airlines won't be in a rush to order new planes, which I thought, that is one thing that will affect the company. But in the long term, we'll get to a bit of normality. Now, I actually think since then, one thing that has changed is that I do see this CV situation affecting this industry for even longer than what I thought it was going to affect it. I was kind of thinking 2 years down the line, we'll start to see the recovery in the air travel and everything like that. But what I can see right now, we're kind of a year and a half into it, and I think it's going to be even long. I think it's going to be longer than 2 years for these airline industry to recover, and then to go and actually go order new planes. I think the first thing they'll be focusing on is kind of getting back to profitability, getting revenue up, and then maybe 3 or 4 years down the line, then they'll go order the new plane. So the one big change really for me is that when I first thought the orders would come back in for Boeing, what is now actually going to take longer than what I thought. So that was the one little adjustment as well there from when I first bought into the company. But the whole reason why this company had the drop in share price was because of the orders side of it. It was nothing to do with any of the problems that were actually going on with the company, which was kind of crazy. Now, the problems that have gone on with the company and these repeat problems is, one of the first one is this one, which is the Boeing 737 MAX, which I'm sure you've heard of probably in the news quite often. Basically, this airplane had 2 major crashes. I believe it was last year, and yeah, the problem lies with Boeing. Basically what happened is, I can't remember the exact information because like I say it was about a year ago, but it was something to do with they installed some engines. The engines basically meant the plane actually went at like a tilt when it's flying because of the weight of the engines. And what they did is they installed something that kind of corrected this tilt. Now what they didn't do is they didn't tell the pilots about this, the change they had made, and they malfunctioned, meaning the plane pretty much went into a nosedive. And if there was training on this, the pilots would have known, oh, okay, let's turn that off and that will correct it. But Boeing didn't tell them, and basically there was 2 crashes because of it, and it was Boeing's fault. And it's still crazy to this day to think that actually no one actually went to jail for this situation. And that led to that plane being grounded for so long. It damaged Boeing's reputation. And it was a major error on Boeing's side of it. And to this day, I think the FAA have been a little bit more harsher on Boeing when they were a bit too relaxed on them previously. And it's something that they probably should have picked up on. It damaged definitely Boeing's reputation. I feel like the FAA are going to be a bit harder on Boeing. And it was just a massive error on Boeing's half of it. And the fact that it took 2 plane crashes for them to kind of realise, okay, we need to be honest about this, is pretty bad. And then what happened as well is one of their new aeroplanes, which is the Dreamliner, then another fault was detected in that new aeroplane. And obviously that then now is going to hurt the company further down the line. And I just kind of got to the point of view is like, what is kind of going on here with Boeing? Because there is problem after problem coming out of these aeroplanes. It's damaging their reputation. I feel like the FAA are going to be even harder on them now just to make sure they're actually doing the things. And I just feel like it's a bad situation where it's, sometimes I feel like, and one big thing as well is like the stock price has moved down negatively on it, but nothing huge. And sometimes, there's some things that you look at and go, yeah, that's bad, but they'll recover from it further down the line. In my opinion now, I think Boeing are making too many errors too often. And what happens as well as the damage of reputation through customers, people wanting to travel on their planes, the FAA being a lot tighter on them as well. I just feel like it's just really lazy management that's going on in this company. And the thing is, when you make errors in this sort of industry, the consequences are huge. As we can see with what happened with the Max crashes and everything like that, is like the consequences of making errors in this industry. You can't make errors, and to be making so many errors is worrying to me. And the thing as well is like, for a lot of these errors to get corrected, there has to be a lot of trials, a lot of assessments to make sure that everything is correct. And in this sort of industry, you can't afford to be making mistake after mistake after mistake, which I feel like Boeing's doing. I'm just losing. Obviously, we've had the big CEO change that happened recently, but it just seems like nothing is actually getting that much better on the new management change. There seems like I feel like there's something going on inside Boeing now. Maybe it's that they're not hiring the correct people, maybe they're cutting corners. For me, I just feel like there's just too much here. As a shareholder, I'm not happy. I feel like there's just too many problems. And I guess that kind of leads me to the big thing, which I always say on this channel, is management and make or break an investment. I look at the management team right now, and over the course of the last few years, I just feel like they're slipping up. And you know who's going to benefit from this whole situation? I feel like Airbus are going to be massively going to take this error by Boeing, and I think they'll punish Boeing. And I feel like Airbus will then be a lot more dominant in this area going forward. And the big thing as well is like management for me, make or break investments. And I feel like that at the moment management are letting this company down huge, and I don't want to have my cash tied up with this management team when I'm not 100% confident in the company. And I feel like right now especially, I'm looking and going, okay, take 68% profit off the table. There's plenty of dips out there on companies that I really like. I'm going to go buy them, rather than keep it in this company that I'm getting a bit nervous on. So I'm still like, when I do think about Boeing, don't get me wrong, I still think Boeing probably will still be around further down the line. When you kind of have a monopoly where there's only 2 commercial aircraft manufacturers out there, Boeing is probably still going to get orders further down the line. It probably still be around, but I still feel like there's probably going to be a few issues still going forward. And I'm still confident that the company will be okay, but when I start to lose a lot of confidence in the company, I like to be 100% sure on my companies are going to do well, and I feel like I'm about 80% right now. And when I've got my capital in this company, I don't want to take that risk. It's sure, I still think that it'll be okay in the long term, but I just don't have that confidence what I once had in this company. And I don't want to, the thing is, well, is like I say, big thing for me is like, I don't want to take losses. I don't want to take a loss on a company. I don't like taking a loss on the company. I'm a big believer of that, I don't want to take a loss and then I have to then make money on another company to make up for the loss on that company. I kind of want to jump before I'm pushed, and if I don't want to get into a situation where I'm pushed, where if this company ended up into a situation where you look at the likes of Rolls-Royce that suffered through bad management over the last few years, look at what the share price has done. I don't want to suffer like a GE, for example, a General Electric, that they've suffered from bad management over the last few years. I don't want to get into that situation, so I don't think that will happen, but I can see little pieces of that starting to happen at Boeing, and it's just too much for me, and I don't want to, it's my capital and I don't want to put that at risk right now, so that's why I'm moving away from it. The other thing as well is the balance sheet. With all these problems, what's happening is deliveries, orders are slowing down. They're losing, obviously they're losing money, but how much money they're going to carry on losing will carry on for a bit longer. What's happening to the balance sheet? The balance sheet is getting worse and worse as it goes on, and I feel like when I invested into this company, I thought that it was going to be about probably 2-3 years of pain. My opinion now is it's probably going to be 3-4 years of pain on that balance sheet, and it's just the longer that the pain happens on this balance sheet, what's going to happen? It's going to have more debt to pay down, more interest on that debt. It's not going to end up paying dividends. It's not going to do share buybacks. And this company that was one of the stars of the Dow only 3-4 years ago is now a company that is not the same company as what it was 3-4 years ago, and that's one of the big things you've got to look at it. And it's very much like I saw someone talk about Carnival the other day, and they were talking about Carnival, and they were kind of comparing Carnival to being the same company as it was 2 years ago. And it was like, you can't compare Carnival to being the same company it was 2 years ago, because so much has changed with that company. You've got to look at the debt, you've got to look at the interest, you look at what it's going to do in the future with debt pay downs, dividends, buybacks. Can it operate at the same level it was before? You've got to take a lot of things into consideration, because these companies have been damaged, they've been hurt a big time, and they aren't the same companies as what they were 3 or 4 years ago. So overall, I hope you kind of understand where I'm coming at with this one, and why I kind of sold this. Overall, the big thing for me is just kind of losing a bit of confidence in the management team, and I don't want to lose that profit that's on the table right now. And with what opportunities are out there, I'm going to take them opportunities out there. And sure, I could have probably sold maybe a couple of months ago where it was a little bit higher. I think at one point we were up like 80-90% maybe on this company, something like that. And sure, I could have maybe sold it out maybe a few months ago, but by then I didn't really, the problems that have recently come out weren't out there, I guess. And I just felt like it was time for me to move away from this company. And as soon as you're not 100% confident on the company, which I'm not, the fundamentals have kind of changed on this, and I think this was the right decision to move away. It might not be, it might turn out I made a mistake, but whenever I'm in investment, I want to be 100% confident, not 80% confident, I guess. So hope you enjoyed it. I don't know if any of you guys were Boeing shareholders or are Boeing shareholders, but thought I'd update you on this one. And I have been buying a few stocks as well last week, so I'll kind of update you at some point on them as well. I've seen a few shout outs for National Express on the comment section as well, so I might do a video on that at some point as well, but I wanted to update you on this one, so just keep that transparency on, that what I'm kind of buying and selling, I guess, at the moment. But hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button, new, subscribe. I'll see you next video.